Hello and welcome back to another League video with this, well, I was going to say mono black deck, but it's now Jund, so that's our update. I'm trying out two makeshift munitions in the main deck. It's the suggestion from somebody on, I think, the Reddit post. They had a deck and they linked and had makeshift munitions in. Same logic as splashing the weather storms in the sideboard. We've got 12 treasure generators, and then I've also cut a swamp for a springleaf drum. My thinking on this is it will help against the Crackland Toxin combo, help a lot against fairies, and also, if we don't draw a carrion feeder as a way to sacrifice, alternatively, if they have Eldrazi Silent tokens or Eldrazi Spawn tokens, 01 County Gardens, for example, there's a lot of things that can jump block us very effectively, so this is hopefully going to stop that from being such a problem. And then to make room for this, I've budged the two Unexpected Fangs to the sideboard, and then I've cut the Accursed Marauders for these. So this is just straight up playing the, if we play against Mono Red or Rakdos, I'd rather have the Fangs. If we played against Boggles, I'd rather have the Accursed Marauders. We will run ourselves that lottery and see where we end up. But this is the change to the deck. Let's jump into a league. So yeah, on the draw in round one, opponent's moved to 6. I'm going to keep this. If we draw any of our fodder, we're kind of off to the race. We've got some draw spells to keep going. Worst comes to worst, we can sacrifice the Carrion Feeder. We've got the Bolter Whispers to sack to a Deadly Dispute. So this is heroic, so regretting my Accursed Marauder choices pretty quickly. Let's lead on the Infestation Sage, because we're probably going to Village Rites it over Hoard up the Carrion Feeder, or sacrifice it to the Carrion Feeder. So that works out quite nicely. I think we'll play the other Sage, and then look to block and sacrifice. So they mulled to 6, right? So they've, this doesn't look like a keepable hand so far, so I'm guessing they've got some kind of, heroic payoff. Unless it is just, they don't want to go to 5 on the play, which I can respect, I can understand. Yes, Ethereal Armor is pretty good. Follow up with another one. Just the haste. It can't be blocked except by a creature with haste. So we'll just go to their end step, and then we'll draw 2. See, we've got Snuff Outs to draw 2. Alternatively, at this rate, we might be able to race them. Or we could draw the makeshift munitions we've just added to our deck, which, could work. So, do I want to get a Carrion Feeder down now? So I want to play a Deadly Dispute this turn, probably sack the other Sage, which means I've kind of got 1 mana left over. Would like to play Carrion Feeder or Link Breaker, or I could Village Rites again. If I play the Link Breaker, I give myself essentially 5 things that I can throw at this. So there's a very high chance I can get this dead. Even to another, or maybe not another Ethereal Armor, that'd be, 3 each. Bit of a weird plan to go kind of all in on trying to makeshift munitions this, but obviously the Trailblazers are quite hard to munition down. But They're also currently 0-4s, and hopefully we can chump them for a long old time. Going to attack for 1. And let's see what they've got. So let's just skip to the end stuff again. I don't really know these lists very well, so I don't know what instance they could be representing. So I'm going to deadly dispute away the sage, so we get our other flyer that we can attack with. Well, we've certainly got some fodder to sacrifice. So let's have a quick look at some lists and see what instance they might play. So with a quick look, Emerge Unscathed seems like the most likely card they have. So we'll play out the Munitions. What's this in response? Solid Footing, so another +1/+1, which makes this up to 4. So we're no longer able to shoot it down this turn. Now what? See that, they're kind of pushed all in onto this rather than their armadillos. They're a land away from being able to turn this into effectively a 4/4. I kind of want to get a village rights off. See what we draw. And then play a Shambling Ghast and another Infestation Sage. And we can attack for 2 in the air. And see what it is they draw. See, land's kind of good for them. Enchantment for this is kind of good for them. So land, but they don't attack with the armadillo. Well, the Munitions is putting in work. So we can tap this, pump 1, 2, 3. The other side of Shambling Ghast. So that uses 3 mana, which means we've got 2 mana left for another Link Breaker and a feeder. Fair enough. Always nice when you try out a new card and then it becomes the main plan straight away. So yeah, they can turn the Armadillo into a 4/4 attacker, but if they spend all their turns doing that and just running into a Link Breaker, they're going to struggle to get ahead. So, post-board, Mask of Law and Grace is the scary one. If we have Snuff Out, we can stop them from being able to enchant that creature. And is it scary enough that we want Mesmeric Fiend? Essentially our 2 questions. In terms of sideboarding out, I'm keeping the Munitions in. I don't really want to trim treasure creators, so Link Breaker is probably the worst of our creatures. Do we want unexpected fangs? I guess the problem is that Ethereal Armor's first strike means that it's very hard for us to kind of tangle in combat with, you know, if they have a huge creature, it's very hard to get into combat with that. Likewise, Mesmeric Fiend, being able, so I like it against Boggles just because we need, their big payoffs are 3-mana enchantments, the Armadillo Cloak, the Ancestral Mask. Against the heroic deck, it's, it is quite a different game. I think just Snuff Out, and I don't think I even want the Fangs. We could cut like a Reaping the Graves or two. Or one. For one of the Fangs. So the Curse Marauders would be coming in here if given the option, but yeah, let's try one Fangs. How bad could that be? And run it back. So we have a Munitions that we can't cast. We've got kind of a hand that builds a decent stack of power and toughness, but it doesn't interact. I think I'm going to keep on the back of the Infiltrators, Carrion Feeder, Infestation Sage, but I could see it being right to mulligan to a Snuff Out. This is, kind of counting the Munitions as basically a mulligan already. So we play Carrion Feeder. So this is pro-black, so the Makeshift Munitions is live against it. I guess they can enchant it up though. So if we tried to get a treasure, tried to get Makeshift Munitions online, that would be Shambling Ghast, Infestation Sage. The next turn we could Munitions and sack something. Or the other option is just play the Infiltrator. I guess we're not probably attacking with we're not attacking with the Infiltrator into the protection, so it doesn't really make a difference in if we held it back for a turn. And then if they don't enchant onto this, we can pick it off. So they're enchanting onto the Trailblazer, which we don't hate. And then they're leaving up either white or Emerge Unscathed. So either protection or Emerge Unscathed. We don't need to sacrifice this now, we can do it in our turn. See what we draw. And we're kind of doing this with Snuff Out backup, is quite nice. So let's sack the Shambling Ghast to get a treasure. Black and a red, play a Makeshift Munitions. This is kind of coming out to plan. So I think we try and kill the Acolyte, right? If we lose the Sage, we can stop in their upkeep, even if they have a protection spell. They don't, so let's just pick off the Ginger Brute. Is there any reason to do that now? I guess not. It gives them more potential to draw into another spell, but equally we could potentially block the Hyena Unbroke creature. And obviously we've got Snuff Out up. I guess we're kind of trying to get them to. I forgot this was an Umbra. Umbra Armor's so annoying. So pro black and red, and it's going to be a 3/7. So we can snuff out this to knock the aura off of it. We take 4. Umbra Armor is so annoying. They have a 2/6 that we can't interact with anymore. And that's now a 3, or a 7, 8, no, 8, 8. So that's going to be good enough. I guess we could draw our fangs. Do we want to munitions down this? Basically, if we're drawing our fangs, what's the plan? We just fangs onto this and see another card, basically. Shame not to use the mana. Oh, this doesn't have vigilance, so it's only 4 power. Okay. So you're saying there's a chance. Maybe I should have kept the token around as it was doing its 1 damage anyway and gave me a munitions target. So put it down to 15. Sack. Yeah, I'm going to push in for damage. Obviously this opens up they can attack with the ginger brute. We don't currently have any fodder to sack to it, but by trying to make our creatures as big as possible, if they do, potentially we get them to stay back, which we like. So we can infiltrate and then still attack for 5 if we're happy to throw this infiltrator at one of their creatures. We get blown out if they have another flash spell. But I don't hate that. Well, I don't like the being blown out bit, but if we shoot this, we shoot the ginger brute. Otherwise, I guess not too worried about them blocking it. They gain 2 in response. Yeah. Their flash cards or things that can target the Trailblazer cost 1 mana anyway. So it's not like it really opens, gives us any more options to play around something that they've already tapped their Link Breaker or sapped their Ginger Brute. So that's probably the land they drew last turn. So drum's kind of paying off in that it's just another thing that we can throw a 1/1. And obviously when we sacrifice it, the makeshift munitions to the makeshift munitions we trigger the infiltrator. So they're dead next turn. Yeah, we got there. So the snuff out, I get this is first strike, not vigilance anyway. Yeah, this not having vigilance bought us all the time we needed. Nice. And knocking the 1/1 off meant that we could, start attacking a turn earlier. Scrappy game, but I think the MonoWhite deck gets into a lot of scrappy games, so happy with that. So we got our round 1 against MonoWhite Heroic with a win. This is a just jam hand. So we've got a load of payoffs. Got a load of payoffs and creatures sacrifice. A slight negative of not having any lands. So I think we're going to lead on the Shambling Ghast. We could village rights into a land, which would be great. We are up against burn. So we've kind of made our burn matchup worse game 1 by cutting the fangs. What do we want to do? So I can kind of play the carrion feeder because worse comes, if they bolt it, that's not the end of the world for, or it can't block against their creatures. We could play the sage. I don't really want to run the beetle out into a bolt. That's kind of slightly too valuable for us. We could just village rights and hope we draw that land. I think I might throw the beetle under the bus. Though I'm not too pleased about it. No, I think maybe I can. Yeah, I think I can run the carrion feeder out, and they're less likely to interact with this. If they do, then so be it. Yeah. So lose the feeder, and is this cold oath? No, just snap a cure. So I think we're just playing out the sage. Again, I'm thinking if I do play the village rights, miss the land, I think we're at risk of falling too far behind. Whereas now we're just essentially blocking up. I think I'm going to double block the lackey. No, don't be an idiot. If we double block the lackey, then they first strike down this. We only deal 1 damage. In my head, the Shambling Ghast was going to die. So this blocks here. We'll just take 1 and keep the Shambling Ghast around. Sure. So is now the time to village rights? And we're at risk of falling too far behind if we keep just playing 1 spell at a turn. I'm going to attack with the insect token, just try and keep chipping through some of their life. These sure are some reckless lackeys. I don't think I want to snuff out 1. Partially because I'm not so far. And I don't want to admit I made a mistake. Then giving them an extra card for no mana from the Percussionist seems bad. Chump blocking for 1 damage seems bad, so I guess we're just taking 4. Not a great Reaping the Graves turn. So we can attack for 2 with the insect token of the Link Breaker. Then we'll be Village Right sacrificing the Link Breaker, because we are in need of that mana now. I think our time to try and draw it naturally is past. So we do draw 1, and then I guess if a beetle eats a bolt, then that's a bolt that's not going on our face. If it doesn't, then with the Deadly Dispute up, we might be able to protect it. So that goes away, and Bushwhack. It's obviously punished for not having picked off the Percussionist earlier. This is definitely going to block here. Guess we'll finally throw the Ghast under a Lackey. Kill the Lackey still. We get a treasure back. None of these are too interesting to, getting the treasure back. It's not going to do a Reap in the Graves. It's a shame they're up to 4 mana for their Synthesizer. Yeah, not too happy with any of these. How it's played out. Chain Lightning can go to the face. We're at 2. I guess they can. Yeah, they don't have to do it now. They can hold on for another turn. So Infiltrator could eat Lightning. Just to run out of Beetle. And then we're on block Chump, so we don't die to the Lightning. Obviously they do Lightning this. No idea. I think I definitely could have played that game better. Luckily we didn't just, Chump block the Reckless Lackey a random turn. The Lackeys were really good there. First strike especially, but I'm sure there was something we could have done to increase our chances of winning, even if we wouldn't have won in the end. So sideboarding, we are playing the are we going to play against Boggles or Mono Red lottery, and we thought we were going to play against Mono Red, which so far we are. So I have the Fangs and the Weathers, and then I don't think I want. Munitions feels a bit too slow. One Reap in the Grave seems a bit too slow. Let's put the Snuffouts into a pile, and then we cut 2 creatures, which can be, I don't know, the Link Breakers, because we can't cut the treasure creatures, or maybe the Carrion Feeder, a Link Breaker. Don't want to cut too many Carrion Feeders, because then we can't make a big creature with our Fangs. Then maybe that's what the Munitions are now here for. I might do a 1-1 split and then change that on the play and have more Carrion Feeders on the play. So let's cut the Snuffouts, a kind of mishmash of a Carrion Feeder, a Link Breaker, and a Munitions. A Reap. Yeah, give that a go. You can see, not the most well-oiled sideboard plan. We have the mascot Carrion Feeder looking out for us. This is not. how do I make the carrion feeder go away? This is not the hand I kind of want. I'm happy with more, chaff than payoffs, because the chaff can, at the end of the day, it can always just block. Losing the payoffs cheaply is quite painful. Do we want to go down to 7? I think I'm going to expect the beetle is just going to get bolted. But we've got the Deadly Dispute to kind of draw us back in, or get the Munitions online. With the Munitions online, we can keep the Infiltrator around a bit better. So let's play our Swamp. I'm trying to work out about, obviously I was weighing at playing the Bottle Whispers, but if we just get that, like, cast into the fire, I've had people board in, cast into the fire. I don't think they should, but I've had people board in, smash to smithereens. That they shouldn't. They definitely shouldn't do that. But if people are going to cast into the fire our Vault of Whispers, that would set us too far back, I think. So they're going to our turn, which puts us in a bit of a pickle. I don't really want to sacrifice the Mortician Beetle, but I don't want to not do anything with my mana either. And our current hand doesn't get that much, play our third land doesn't make us any better. So I think we have to. Obviously, it would have been ideal if they'd have tried to bolt this, but they didn't. So, how do we feel about playing in Makeshift Munitions and an Infestation Sage? We're turning off our green source for the treasure. We're threatening to make that, have the protected large infiltrator. I feel like I could probably sneak probably play the carrying feeder as well, but this way I can block if given the option. I guess here we've effectively gained 2 life by leaving up that mana. So we'll block the Tomb Raider and then shoot down the Epicure. So now we can play the Infiltrator. And we've got 2 sacrifices for that. Or I guess if we play the Carrion Feeder first. So if we Link Break, Carrion Feeder, then Infiltrator, we've got more sacrifices available. We're already in the territory where Reaping the Graves should be quite a nice draw. I was kind of thinking they were gonna bolt the Carrion Feeder in response. We should be able to protect it to 1 bolt. If they have 2 in their turn, that's going to be quite hard to keep it alive. We chip in for 1 with our insect. So if we start by sacking the Link Breaker, then they bolt this in response. If we start by sacking the Sage, by sacking the insect token, I don't think it doesn't really matter, does it? I guess if we do this and they bolt for some reason, then they bolt now. Yep. So this is only 2 damage. It's about to get another counter, so we can sack the feeder to itself to keep our guy alive. Unfortunately, we lose our link breaker token instantly, but our 5/4 stares, faces down there, 2/2, so we're winning the race on that. To that extent, nice draw. Sets up a few more counters and sets up the Weather the Storm. I could have sacked the Vault of Whispers, kind of representing up to 3 counters for the Infiltrator. Could have sacked the Vault of Whispers earlier, but I didn't think we need to. I think I'm just going to take this. I kind of like having the Shambling Gas as a thing available to shoot something, and then obviously if they try and burn us out from here, we've got the Weather the Storm in hand. So am I going to draw another card, or am I going to start throwing stuff at either their face or creatures now? So I'll make this 5. When I go to make it 6, they could respond. Village Rites makes it slightly interesting as to what we want to do with the guest. It's also another instant that we can play in their turn to up the storm count. So they stay home. So now what? I kind of want to draw my 2 cards. I don't think so yet. I think I will happily Village Rites to Freebooter. This is another 2 counters on our Ghast. Sorry, Infiltrator. I'm going to top another Ghast. So this is now lethal. We could clear the way, but then if they bolt, I mean, they need an awful lot of bolts. Well, this is going to go up to 7. I think we're clearing the way. They have 3 bolts. Yeah. Got out of that one. So let's run it back. Add another munitions over the carrion feed and out on the draw. Because we're less likely to be able to run away with a carrion feeder. Remember, we've always got one with us. Always one in our hearts. So easy maul, easy keep, and I'm going to put back the Reap in the Graves. Actually, I could put back the Infiltrator. Infiltrator's just going to get blown out here. I'll just get bolted. Bit funky, but I'm going to put back the Infiltrator. And just play the attrition game. If they don't have basically, if they don't have a lot of burn spells, being able to reaping for, a couple with the link breakers could make us very comfortable. So I'm going to play into their end the festivities. Which they don't have, so just keeping a 1-lander. So what are we attacking with? I think we just attack for 2. So this sets up their end the festivities, but again we've got the Reap in the Grave, so we kind of want all of our, the front end of all of our creatures to go to the graveyard. Now we are relying on them to play some spells, because although we have 4 cards in hand, we can only cast one of them, and it's got Storm. A little bit awkward. Yeah, that's quite funny, yeah. So, opponent playing draw go implies a lot of burn spells. So, a bit of a dumb auto yield. We can get back 3 creatures, which is fine. So it would have been nice to put one of these into play. I guess we'll have the beetle. Do we even want the beetle? I think just getting the beetle and then the infestation sage over the link breaker is fine. Yeah, obviously dumb mistake to auto yield. For whatever reason, I thought they were going to end the festivities in our turn. We have our treasure guy online. Am I playing all of these out? Probably wish I had kept the Mortician Beetle in hand. Then bolting that down is on the good end for us. Then I'll happily play these out because, again, don't particularly mind them all. And then the festivities just turns on our makeshift munitions. Alternatively, a Reaping the Grey, Weather the Storm, but unless they play a few more spells this turn, it's going to be the munitions. Let's draw off the village rights first. really nice. So we can play the Munitions, play the Shambling Ghast. We could Weather now, but Dispute and then Weather. So let's just block. I'll make a treasure. And I think I'm probably going to throw the Vault of Whispers at it as well to finish it off. The Vault of Whispers seems less valuable than the treasure, even with the backup with the Dispute in hand as the other green source. Just keep playing stuff to the board, and we're just going to try and run them out of resource. We have another Reaping, so we've got 2 more Reaping the Graves in the deck. They will be good draws. If they bolt the Beetle this time, we can dispute that away. I'm still quite confused as to what all the cards in their hand are. But our life total is just staying so high. Let's attack first so that we don't get cast into the fired. Again, it was embarrassing enough the first time. So I'm probably going to do the same and just block and shoot this. Or do I not want to not block? Double our clock. I could just shoot this with treasures. We've got 1 treasure on the board. We seem like we're a ways away from needing both Weather the Storms. And yeah, obviously we're paid off by immediately drawing another treasure creature. Going to open ourselves up to end the festivities, but again we can just sack the insect token. The other 2 get some value when they die. There's a Bushwhacker. Less scary than the 2/2s, the army of 2/2s. Do we want to scribe from the freebooter? I don't think so. We've got some payoffs that we could draw. I think we just attack. We'll make ourselves a treasure. So we've drawn 8 of our 17 lands. Ooh. Am I going to be a coward and weather the storm now? I don't think so. Happy for them to just keep throwing bolts at our face. What do we pick off the... Let's pick off the Bushwhacker. see what we're about to draw. So if we're drawing a village rights, I'll keep the insect token around. We go down to 7. Attack back for 1, then draw 2. And then what, weather for 3? Weather to gain 9. I'd rather they just bolt our face, right? No, I think we have to do 1 weather. It buys us time so that we're not in trouble against them just attacking. Yeah, really weird game. So we can sack this to do what? Do we kill their creature or do we just start going at their face? Put them to 6, 5. I kind of like just going for the face. The Fangs is not looking the best here. This is the kind of experience that I had quite a lot when I was playing this deck before, is Fangs seems like it should be really great, but they just keep mana up and you never really grow a creature. Now what? I'm kind of thinking that we're going to be... Oh, hang on, are they just dead? So 3, 4, 5, 6. So they're dead in their next turn. If they play a spell, it's easier because we can get back 3 things that make other 3 things that make 2 creatures and just munitions them out. Don't want to see a bushwhacker. So we're probably going to Unexpected Fangs their stay-at-home samurai. So if we go down to 9, yeah, I think it's fine. We don't have to do this yet. We do this all in our end step event, essentially. Or in response to some graveyard hate. Yeah, so we're essentially just going to bolt them out, right? Will we have enough? Maybe we don't have enough mana to play 3 creatures and then triple sorry, 6 makeshift munitions anyway. So we get Infestation Sage. I'm kind of leaning towards creatures, but that doesn't actually make sense, as I actually would rather get treasure creators, because treasures are harder for them to kill. The creature plan gets mopped up too easily by a sweeper. And now we have built our own storm count for this turn. So we can do Infiltrator, play out all our guys, then Weather. guess the downside to this is that we are exposing ourselves to this stupid like what's the card called again? Stupid end the festivities, but I should not have auto-yielded. We're making treasures so that we can kill them. I'm just being lazy now. Playing sloppy because I thought I was like, yeah, this is pretty locked up. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the other sage. So we can block the samurai token and then sack to prevent them from gaining life. Amusingly, the infestation sage insect token would attack for 1 for the 6 point of damage. It's not auto-ed anymore. We're low on time because we've been playing nice and slowly and then still sloppily. So try and put you to 4. And get there eventually. So yeah, a few cards have come together to work out this game. Very unhappy with how very unhappy. I played very sloppily, but muddled through with the power of some powerful cards. So we are back for round 3. Boy, have we got some Reaping the Graveses. Hand is definitely on the weak side. I'm going to stay at 7. Opponent's moved to 6. Opponent's moved to 5. Do we pass the Boggles check? Boggles being the, probably most infamous deck that mulligans a lot until it finds their Boggle. No, it's the Paducah Bog deck. That's a bit of a surprise, bit of a pleasant surprise. We'll run out of Carrion Feeder. Unfortunately, we are just, going to be jamming for a while, but the benefit is we are resistant with access to Reaping the Graves. So, assuming this is like a blue-black fairies deck over like a blue-black snacker control. So this is a nice matchup to try and count the number of dead snuff outs the opponent has. So they couldn't cast them for free at the minute anyway. So we play the Vault of Whispers, we can attack with the Infiltrator, still don't get blown out by a Spell Stutter. Because we can dispute away the Vault. Guess we'll Village Rites this in response. Just get our collect our draw 2 for pass and go. We can pay for Spell Pierce. You had a Dispel instead. Do we want to do any disputing or just play Carrion Feeder? So I don't really want to dispute because we've got I don't want to dispute away a land because we've got the 2 Reaping the Graves in hand, so let's just play a bad Carrion Feeder. The other option would be dispute away the Carrion Feeder, but yeah. Disputing away the Carrion Feeder does have its appeal due to just getting the 2 cards out through a counter spell, but so we're playing Swamp Go. They tap out some mana we can dispute. Otherwise, just looking to draw, any spell over any land. They've already got their bog in play, so if they have a aqueduct, they can pick it back up. But thrilling content for the. Oh no, they're attacking. Was this a ninja? Nope, just a follow-up creature. You have a snacker. So annoying if this turns on Spell Stutter. Oh man, it's rough. It's hard going out here, I'm telling you. I think that was 3 turns in a row. But yeah, we basically just want any spell, most of them, most creatures that allow us to start attacking. Don't really want to Reaping the Graves for 1. The card is just more valuable than that. Any fodder we can, start disputing. Top. Top's not good for us. And then they attack. There's just no respect for our wet noodle of a. I mean, I guess we attack for 2. Hopefully they just have a sprite and we trade in combat. That'd be alright. Please. Kill a guy. No, unfortunately not. What say you about a 4th land, though? So this is the second card that they topped, which is a Brainstorm. They play a Modern Age, so they're not representing Counterspell anymore. Do we want to dispute now? That sounds good. If they just, the chance of them keeping an island in hand is so low. But right, that's turned it around. So they did discard an island. And then I guess they're holding up either Agony Warp or Cast Down. But us being able to have access to this makeshift munitions is going to be great. So let's play the munitions. They can shoot, they can cast down if they want to cast down. Play the Ghast. Play the Beetle. Attack for 2. And I'm feeling like we're going to be throwing some stuff at this Spectre Glider. Let's get a bit more information before we decide. So, what, throw a ghast, a feeder, and a vault? This is going to make a treasure. Maybe we can throw the treasure. Throw the vault. Keep the creatures. Take 2. Have a terror. Oh, it's still quite awkward, isn't it? It's still pretty awkward. So I don't really want to Reap in the Graves for 1. So it looks like we're kind of going into their turn and hoping to Reap in the Graves then. See a mini, a Reap in the Grave. So we've got 2 creatures, we can sacrifice one of these to get some more material. Not thrilled. But essentially the first Reaping helps the second, is the benefit for us. Because the second one, we return the creatures we play help us return more creatures. So what, I'm blocking the terror, just shooting down the snacker. See, they've got brainstorm, they've got access to brainstorms and so on, that shooting down the snacker is not that useful, but it prevents damage. We've got a bunch of 1/1s that we can draw that are fodder creatures that we can draw that can keep the terror back at home. Keep the terror at bay. Up to 3 creatures in the graveyard. So we can Reaping for 2, get back the Infiltrator, the Beetle. Or is it the Infiltrator, the Ghast? Thinking that if we're going to be, basically the Ghast is something that we want to sacrifice anyway. Reaping intensifies. So we can sack the Ghast for a treasure. Always yield. Let's just okay this one. So now we can Reaping for 3. So if we sack the Carrion Feeder, we can essentially get him back. Funny that we actually do basically need the third, Reaping the Graves to make this beneficial, but play the other Shambling Ghast. You can attack for 3 with this Carrion Feeder, seeing as it can't block. And then the Ghast is kind of representing block the Terror, get sacked to pick off the Snacker. I'm assuming there's a cast down coming here. Because again, that turn they left up black-blue as opposed to blue-blue. Still not seeing anything else that makes sense. I guess maybe they could draw into a sneaky Snacker. But they'd probably want to discard the Snacker anyway. Again, we're playing really slow. I'm sorry about this. I could easily speed up. I'm enjoying that for a deck that's got so many just kind of on-board tricks and, moving things around. Munitions just makes that puzzle even harder. But still a blast. Coming out of this turn, we want to, a big goal is not being in one turn of attacks in the air from death. If we can do our, play 2 things, play Reaping the Graves again, I feel like we're going to be in relatively good shape. So we cast down this, we just block, shoot this. We do go down to 4 like that. Sorry, yeah. They cast down this, we block 4 damage, we go to 6. They cast down this. That's trickier. No, because then we sack this here, sack this to itself. This becomes a 6 power, so it can block the Terror. Yeah. Again, we cover quite a few angles. You can sack the Shambling Ghast for a treasure, and then use the treasure to throw the Shambling Ghast. So I think we're just sacking this to pick off the Snacker. Again, they're only 1 cantrip from returning, so it's less about keeping it dead and more about just trying to keep ourselves leg room so that we're not 1 hit away. If we can buy ourselves time to work with, we can outgrow, say a Tolarian Terror. So turn off Force Yield so that we don't get blown out, or we don't get creature killed and we don't sacrifice in response. But yeah, with the makeshift munitions in play, my thinking is that we can pick off flyers quite well and so on. Because if we draw a Link Breaker or a Infestation, we have a load of creatures that we can draw that are 2 makeshift munitions triggers at the Vector Glider. So we can outgrow the Terror, we can pick off these with pick off these in the air. It's a Beetle Feeder. The Snuff Out's interesting. I'm not counting on this surviving because I think they have a Snuff Out. So Beetle Feeder. We attack, they just snuff out us. So they cast down our guy. Do we want to attack with both? What would we sacrifice? Would I trade 2 Carrion Feeders for the Terror? Probably not. The plan is to start throwing stuff at the vector glider. Where is it? So now storm count is 3, so we're going to get back 4 creatures. We can also put them on a dispel check. I guess Spell Pierce does it most of the time as well. So if we let this go, we can reap and then only play the Ghast and pick up the feeder. And then we're back in the same thing where we essentially attack for, sorry, they attack, we block, pick off the Sneaky Snacker. But our feeder's already a bit bigger. Or if we just throw 3 things at this now, so 1, 2, 3, they attack, we have to block with the beetle. That doesn't sound very good. So I've got us on sacrifice this. It's basically free to sacrifice the carrion feeder. So I should have attacked with this carrion feeder is what we're saying. Then we can reap back these 3 and replay the Ghast. Well, 2 targets on the Ghast because that's the one that we need the most. Replay the Ghast. Yeah, big leak by not attacking with the carrion feeder is what I've settled on there. Because being able to, if the Terra had to block or they take 6, if they take 6, obviously we're angling towards munitioning them out. If they didn't take 6, if they just traded, obviously we wouldn't have to worry about about them attacking with this. But the gist was, I knew they had a cast down. They were going to be casting it on the infiltrator. My response to that was going to be reaping the graves. So why not? And if I'm going to reap in the graves, I'm going to sack the feeder. So I was saying, do I want to sack 2 feeders for this? It was only really one of them because the other one was going to go to the other one was going to come from the infiltrator. It's interesting. So we've got the snuff out, but I don't really want to be casting that into a counter spell. So I think we're sacking the Shambling Ghast again. To -1/-1. Snacker. See if they have another Brainstorm or Lorien revealed, it's coming back. Now it's 7/7 and a 4/4. We get down to 3. Again, I think we've been bailed out by drawing 3 Reaping the Graves, but also I don't think I managed to solve the, let's say solve the puzzle for how you're supposed to play. And ran myself into more trouble than it was worth. I'm gaining 3 lives, so they're no longer kind of in that burn range. Can't afford to snuff out for life. Yeesh. Yeah, really, really missed not attacking for 6 here. Opponent's disconnected. I'll come back when they have. So unfortunately the opponent's disconnected and not come back, so I don't know. we're not in a absolutely horrible, completely lost state, but I don't like our chances. I think we probably would have won this game if we had have attacked for 6 correctly last turn. But as is, that's obviously a wash. On to the next one. Oh, welcome back for round 4. We're on the play. Mulligan, no lands. Keep. And are we going to put back one of these lands for the Springleaf Drum? So turn 1, Sage. Turn 2, Drum. Freebooter. I think so. And then the Drum just, gives us something else to sacrifice to Deadly Dispute, Munitions. I think ever so slightly marginally better. I'd probably rather lead on the Freebooter so that the Sage is untapped to block, but okay, I just shortcut there. In my head, yeah. That's obviously a huge punt. Just a mistake. In my head I was playing the Drum and I clicked the Freebooter. So we lose a whole turn of tempo. And could well get punished. That's not a great look. So let's use the Freebooter. Guess we'll play the Beetle now. Yeah, okay. It'll be great if we manage to get out of this and undo, essentially time walking ourselves, but I'm gonna run no blocks here. So our next turn is Carrion Feeder, Infestation Sage, and we can have 2 large creatures. Obviously Thraben Charm is pretty good against us. They can Thraben Charm down our Beetle, there's not a lot we can do about that. They have 2 more creatures, they Battle Screech. There's not a lot we can do about that either, so that's good. This is Battle Screech, and then even if we do grow this, we can't outgrow a Thraben Charm for 1,000,000. So I guess the feeder can't block, so why not have that be tapped? And then we can attack with these 2. By leaving back the Freebooter, I've got a bit more wiggle room against Guardian's Pledge. And essentially I can untap this by sacrificing it. So I'm so likely to sack the Sage. So they go down to 18. 2, 4, 5. There's another 6. Put them down to 17. I guess the point is that I'm doing, I don't know, I was going to say doing damage in kind of even increments, but I think I can sack the Sage. Let's see what the attack is. So I'm going to tap the Sage so that we can block both of these. Am I going to block here? Don't hate it, mostly because you know what we draw is going to be so important that getting the scry is not the end of the world. If they have a strand, it's going to be very, very tough to beat. So hopefully this combat happens and we just sack here for value. Another beetle. Kind of out of sacrifice fodder, so drawing this doesn't really help. More birds. Oof. So we can attack with the carrion feeder, if he can't block anyway. And then we're looking at like block here, do some terrible deadly dispute our treasure away. But yeah, there's not a lot of stuff we beat here. Not sure if we would get out of this even if we had not completely messed up our turn before, but see, it didn't particularly help. So they crack their clue. Let's see if they have a creature. Otherwise, it looks like we could potentially snuff out something. You know, snuff out something, draw a creature. Got a chance. Okay, so this is a creature, but it'll pick up the Flame Inspector, so they're kind of seeing two creatures. So the kind of snuff out plan is come down a bit. Yep, they remake their clue. We're gonna dispute away our treasure, get it back just to draw two. See if it's any good. Not perfect, not really what we need. And then the infiltrated. So we've got all the payoffs, but nothing we actually really want to sacrifice here. So let's have a bit of a think about what we do next. So let's go with play the carrion feeder, tap the carrion feeder to play the beetle. This way we get to attack, apply some pressure. We can't beat a Guardian's Pledge anyway. The attackers in the air kill us. So we get one chump out of here. Opponent goes to 9. Basically saying we can't beat most of their draws anyway. So let's apply some pressure, and if they manage to not draw anything, then we've got a shot. So they draw off their clue, see if they hit a Guardian's Pledge. They don't, they hit a Grange. Let's see what they do. So attack for 5 in the air. If we don't snuff out the Skyfisher now, sorry, attack for 6 in the air. If we don't snuff out the Skyfisher now, it's going to be turned off anyway. But if we do, we take 1 extra damage. So we go down to 3 and die next turn in the air. Neither of those options sound very good. Maybe if we take it and draw like a Infestation Sage to block, that's something we can do. We need multiple Sages by keeping the snuff out in hand. Okay, that's probably going to sort that out then. So we've got a few creatures that can grow, but look like they're going to have too many attackers. We can sack the Mortician Beetle. Should have tapped it for a black mana first. That was silly, but yeah, it's very likely to matter. But obviously, if we'd have tapped it, we'd have carried black mana forwards, and yeah, that would do. one of those I don't quite know what I was hoping to draw to there, so then moving to sideboarding. In this matchup, basically prismatic strands are a real beating because all our creatures are black. So Mesmeric Fiends, exile prismatic strands, Rotten Reunion, exile strands, or half battle screech. I don't think I want the snuff out on our end. I could look at the unexpected fangs, but they're so likely to have Thraben charms and so on. Even if we grow a creature, they can kill it. Then I think we'll cut link breakers as our kind of worst treasure creature. Sorry, their worst creature, not a treasure creature. I'm going to keep all the reapings in. I think this is less about, going tall with a carrion feeder, more about having, being able to do our thing multiple times and fight them, fight them going wide. Then hopefully the munitions are going to back that up as an option. So not a great hand on the play. We've got our kind of payoff creatures, but nothing to sacrifice, and the Reap in the Graves. And if these creatures go into the graveyard early, this is a great start for us. Kept just because we have our potential for a clock. We just have to draw something to get there. Opponents move to 6. So we're looking to, I guess the benefit of this against playing against MonoWhite is they're less good at interacting with our growing creatures. Not like Burn that's just going to bolt them out. So we've got a plan for turn 1 and 2. And we're kind of now, this is the turn where we need to draw a creature to sacrifice. Let's hope that we can. I guess we're looking at we can deadly dispute the infiltrator next round, or next turn, and that will give us 2 counters, 1 for sacking the vault, 1 for sacking the treasure. So I have a Skyfisher, so we can attack into that. So we draw a Sage. So I'd rather sack the Sage than the land. We've got a Reaping the Graves to use the mana. It helps grow the beetle. And as mentioned, so we can attack in with the infiltrator, using the treasure to pump our guy. Double Mesmeric Fiend, nice. So they take 3. Now we are really on the lookout for a way to sacrifice some Mesmeric Fiend. If we can do that, we're going to put a couple of quite big creatures into play quite quickly. Veteran, sure, they're going to gain quite a lot of life. We're not really going to have a way to interact with that. We don't have the Shambling Gas currently, we don't have a way to sacrifice it. Not a bad spot for a makeshift munitions. Unless they have a Thraben Charm. But again, the Thraben Charm is going to be good against us if it kills an infiltrator, a beetle, or exiles that graveyard, so spoiled for choice. Thinking about what to use for their last mana for. So another Skyfisher. So yeah, so sack outlets are good draws. The drums, kind of in the middle. We're attacking with the infiltrator now. Then our question is, are we going to play a kind of naked Mesmeric Fiend to use our mana? See what we can grab. I don't think so. What the best card I'd want to take from them would be like a Eagles of the North. I think the fact that once you've played it and got a card under it, it's so hard to take a card. We can't sacrifice Mesmeric Fiend. It's just hanging out. It's so painful. So we're on some very awkward race. Awkward because we're losing. Very nice. So play Mesmeric Fiend. Response the trigger. Tap it for black. Draw 2. So hopefully that draw is enough to pull us back into this game. And suffering a little bit from not having this life gain, not having bought in the life gain. So I guess we take the Destroy Evil because we can take the Guardian's Pledge next. I've hit auto yield. Do I want to yield or do I want to play out this Ghast? I think I'll play the Ghast. So we've got 1, 2, 3 creatures in the graveyard. 1, 2. If we draw something, yeah. So turn off auto yield to play the Ghast. Keeping it in hand would give us an extra storm count for the Reaping the Graves next turn, but this bumps in extra damage. It gives us something else that can block the threaten to block an Inspector or the Lunite Veteran if they had a Druid draw another pledge. We attack for 10, they're not far off needing to chump, taking they didn't draw a pledge. So I seem to be identifying that their win condition is chipping in the air. That's gonna buy you quite a lot of time. Great turn to draw makeshift munitions. So that's a lot of life gain, isn't it? We can attack for 10. Probably should have attacked with the Shambling Ghast as well. Just because it's not doing anything sat at home. And then we can reap him back our 3 creatures. We take 5, so we can take 5 from this attack. Oops, 15. They can block. Yeah, we need to draw something pretty good. Guess we trade with the bird. 23. Yes, take 5. Yeah. Severely not helped by punting away game 1, but you can kind of see where I'm at saying this is a pretty bad matchup. We drew out of our opening hand pretty well, but opening hand probably wasn't good enough to keep on to round 5. So we are back for round 5. Hand that I love to keep. As much as I love the hands where you just, play a few things, sacrifice them, make some 4/4s on turn 2. It's these kind of village right hands that I really love. So again, opponent's moved to 5. Not in a bad situation to say that in game 1 twice, but implying this is the Boggles check. Can beat some Boggles hands if we just grow a big infiltrator, but having the accursed borders out the 75 is not a good sign. Other decks can mulligan to 4, but kind of few are far between. Brood scale. Fair enough. So we're just going to put as quick a clock as we can. I was terrified that was just going to be brood scale and they were going to like turn 3 it anyway, but see, thankful if not. So drum, sage, add black. Draw 2, get our counter. And we'll just run out of beetle. So we could have had the other beetle in play if we'd have sacked this sage, but this sage was, attacking for 1 as well, so not quite as straightforward for calculating damage. Get our Eldrazi Scion token, Eldrazi Spawn token counter. Is it Scion or Spawn? I can never remember. Spawn. Scion's the originals. Showing my age. They take a shambling gas, but our creatures are kind of outgrowing that. So we can beetle, sack the infestation sage, get some counters and some draws. There's definitely some things that I would want to play pre-combat. Carrion feeder is definitely one of them. Was just thinking that actually it might, after not as bad a misplay as not using the what do you call it? Not using the Springleaf Drum and playing the other 1-drop first, but I could see it being right to have held on to the Springleaf Drum. If I drew a makeshift munitions, I would have wanted to cast that. So let's try and hold. Again, we're with the 2 Mortician Beetles. They essentially need the combo and a way to kill us, I believe. Rather than just having an infinite creature. So opponent's moved to 4. Won't feel too proud about sneaking out with that one. Against Glee, we want Mesmeric Fiends and Snuff Outs. We don't want Link Breakers. And was I cutting? I was cutting the Fangs, and now I've got Makeshift Munitions in that slot. Bit reluctant to cut the Reaping the Graves because I like Reaping the Graves Mesmeric Fiends so much. be reluctant to cut Infestation Sage because then we kind of lose that ability to make such a quick clock. Wonder what we're supposed to cut. Maybe 2 freebooters? Maybe a reap? Oh, but I just love reaping the graves so much. I'm gonna run this back. Can't get away from it, sue me. So opponent's moved to 6. We're gonna keep. We've got a Mesmeric Fiend and a Snuff Out, so doing okay on the disruption. We've got the Infiltrator to start the beatdown plan. So we can drum and then infiltrate. If we remember to play the drum. So drawing a way to sacrifice this fiend is very appealing. They took a swamp, they didn't get any choice for that one. So we do draw a way to sacrifice it. Does mean we can't put the beetle into play. Again, I've been relatively impressed by drum. It seems like it should be really good. I wanted to play that with Eviscerator's Insight, with the idea that, it's more artifacts you can sacrifice. So, do we take the Glee, or do we just take the Insight? We've got a Snuff Out already. I'm kind of just taking Insight. They've not any protection for their not any protection for their combo. A slightly awkward decision here, whether we play the Mortician Beetle off the treasure. If they do and they draw a way to sack the Shambling Ghast and kill our guy, that's pretty sad. Whereas if I hold the treasure, we can use it to put the counter on the Infiltrator. Swamp Ghast. Should have played the Infiltrator pre-combat so that I could sack the treasure then. This way I might be kind of roped into sacking the treasure to keep this alive. I think it's unlikely they block and -1/-1 this. So we just clear out the Ghast. And now we can spew some creatures into play. Maybe there's something to be said for like holding off on some spells and not play into weather, but I don't really fear weather as a life game. When we do our thing, we put so much power into play anyway. I'm just going to sack this so we get in for two, essentially 2/1/1 counters. We've got the drum as our red source if we draw a makeshift munitions. And we've got double snuff out, so not too worried about the combo. Don't want to get like drowning sorrowed, that would be a very embarrassing way to go. Nightblade could potentially keep them alive for quite a long time. An annoyingly long time. They glee their Nightblade. Okay. That's interesting. We draw a feeder. So we don't know their one card in hand. Whenever a creature dies, this gets +1/+1. So we can put a treasure into play with the freebooter, which kind of grows our infiltrators past their Nightblade. Attack in the air, and if we attack with the beetle, it's kind of hard to get away from that being a chump attack. I guess these are chumpy as well, aren't they? Because they can sack these to kill them. So equal, I get +1. Eesh. So am I on like chip in for 1, scry and try and find a way to pick off these spawn tokens? Because we're not a million, if we have 4 wide attackers, we can just punch through the Nightblade. I think the trick I missed was just double snuff outing their stupid Scion tokens. They'd go to 20. We'd attack with a gang. 3, 4. Yeah. I think we're setting up for, with the carrion feeder attacking as well, we can just snuff out over here. It would be annoying to be saved by a if we're doing this, do we want to scry first? Probably. I mean, the freebooter's definitely getting sacked. That's a good draw. That might be a good enough draw that I no longer want to fire off a snuff out. Or is it? Because the second snuff out's not really doing anything for us, and then that kind of frees up we've already got some protection with the combo. This frees up a makeshift munition trigger to go to the head. So let's shoot the spawn token. We have 4, 9, 11, 4, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I know, so we're short 1 mana. So we can do 4, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So throw so we've done 14, 15. Throw this 16, 17, 18, 19. So we're 1 short still. That's annoying. I should have done my maths, or I should have attacked him with my stupid. I guess either should have snuff outed that and gone to the face. Yeah. But we can attack with the 2 infiltrators now, because I can throw artifacts at them, which don't trigger creatures dying. So they just take it, which is 11, 12, 13, so 11, 14, 17. I think they're dead. Well, they're dead if they don't have the Tamio safekeeping. For the cost of we lose our drum and a land. So 15, 16, 17. We do have to use the treasure token to shoot them now. So we lose the feeder, yeah. $17, $18. You can stay alive with the safekeeping, but still got a protection against the combo. And then this is still, the gang's still coming back in next turn. Weather again, sure. I'm not sure whether I would bring in weather in this matchup. So it doesn't really cross my mind as a... Nearly. You nearly got us. I should have waited. Yeah. Got ahead of myself. I could have let them... Oh no, because then they just pass? Yeah. Bit loose. So yeah, we attack, they don't block with this. They don't block this, but they can't stay alive. And that helps as well. So 4-1 after, well, one opponent disconnected, got smushed by Whiteweenie. The opponent's moved to 4 and yeah. Had better leagues, but decent result overall. Impressed with the makeshift munitions. It's a bit clunky, but even like against Brood Scale, having more things that they can have to think about, like munitions hold up 3 mana is pretty rough, but holding up 2 mana with a Shambling Ghast is pretty durable. it as a kind of improvement to the deck. Doing the whole affinity thing where you just throw everything at the opponent as a way to burn them out is pretty nice.